All right, continuing part 395, Federal Motor Carrier, Carrier Safety Administration. 395.3 Maximum drive time for property carrying vehicles. Except otherwise provided the 395.1, no matter carrier shall permit the requirement of any driver that you use by to drive the property carrying commercial vehicle with no shall any with the trust the driver property carrying commercial motor vehicle regardless of the number of motor hours used in the driver's service is unless the driver complied with the following requirements. Start of the workshop, driver may not drive without first taking a 10 consecutive hours off duty. 14-hour period, driver may drive only during the period of 14 consecutive hours after coming on duty, following the 10 consecutive hours off duty. The driver may not drive after the end of 14 consecutive hour period without first taking 10 consecutive hours off the driving time of the rest break with the driving time. Driver may drive with a total of 11 hours during the 14-hour period specified in paragraph A2 of this section. 2. Rest break. Except for the driver to qualify with either the shore hold exemption 395E1 or 2, the driver does not permit if there are more than 8 hours have passed since the end of the driving in the last period during the sleeper berth period, at least 30-minute period. No more carriers shall permit the requirement of the driver of the property carrying the commercial motor vehicle to drive, nor any shall the driver of the property cover the commercial motor vehicle, regardless of the number of the motor carrier hours due for the driving services for any period after having been on 60 duty 60 hours any period of 7 consecutive days. Employer motor carrier does not operate with the motor vehicles every day of the week. Having been on duty 70 hours in any period 8 consecutive hours, employer motor carrier to operate with the commercial motor vehicle every day of the week. Any period 7 consecutive days may end with the beginning of the off duty with 34 of the consecutive hours and include the 2 period of 1 a.m. to 5 p.m. Any period of the consecutive days may end with the beginning off duty period of 34 consecutive hours, include the 2 periods of 1 a.m. to 5 p.m. The driver may not take it off duty for the period allowed with the period paragraph C of the section. Restart with the calculation 60 hours, 7 consecutive days, 70 hours, and consecutive days until 168 hours. 68 or more consecutive hours have passed since the beginning of the last of the off-duty period. The driver may takes more than an off-duty period of 34 or more consecutive hours within a period of 168 hours. He or she must indicate the remarked sections of the recorded duty status, which is such off-duty period is beginning to restarted. Calculation 60 hours or 70 consecutive days or 70-hour consecutive days. 395.5 Maximum driving for passenger carrying vehicles is subject to the exemption for 395.1. No motor carrier shall permit to require any driver that you be the driver of the passenger carrier commercial motor vehicle, nor shall any of the driver of the passenger carrier commercial motor vehicle more than 10 hours duty following the 8 consecutive hours off duty. The any period having been with on duty 15 hours following the 8 consecutive hours off duty. No motor carrier shall permit the require of the driver passenger carrying the commercial motor vehicle to do drive, nor shall any driver of the passenger carrying commercial motor vehicle, regardless of the number of the motor hours you the driver services any period after having been on duty 60 hours of the 7 consecutive days of the employer motor vehicle does not operate the commercial motor vehicle every day of the week. Having been on duty 70 hours any period of the 8 consecutive hours, the employer motor carrier operates a commercial motor vehicle every day of the week. 395.7 Reserve. 395.8 Driver's record of the duty status. If the private motor vehicle, the passenger for the on business is defined in 395F. 390F of the 395 of the subchapter of the motor carrier, subject to the requirements of the part of the must require of the each of the driver, you of the motor carrier, to the record of the driver's due with the status of the 24-hour period, that you of the method of the prescribed in paragraph A1 through 4 of the section applicable to the subject A1, 2 within 3 of the section motor carrier, the operating of the motor commercial motor vehicle, they must install the require each of the driver that are using electronic logging device to record driver's duty status of the accordance with the subpart B of the no later than December 18, 2017. Motor carrier with the install the require of the driver use the automatic onboard recording device accordance with the A39515 before December 18, 2017 may continue with the compliant automatic onboard regarding recording device no later than December 16, 2019. A motor carrier may require the driver the record of the driver's duty status manually in accordance with the section rather than require the use of the electronic logging device if the driver is operating with a commercial motor vehicle in a manner of the requiring with the completion of the record of the duty of the status more than 8 days within a 30-day period. If the driveway towaway operation which the vehicle has being driven is part of a shipment of the being delivered in a driveway with the towaway operation vehicle being transported motor home or recreational trailer, or that was manufactured before model year of 2000 reflective of the vehicle identification number is shown on the vehicle registration. The record on the duty status must be recorded and duplicated with every 24 hours with the record required for the data should be recorded with the specified group of the shown with paragraph G of the section. Grid and requirements of paragraph D of this section may be combined with the company form. 4. Subject to the paragraphs A1 through 3 of the section until December 18, 2017, the motor carrier operator commercial motor vehicle shall require each of the drivers to record driver records on duty status using an electronic logging device that meets the requirements of subpart B of this part, using automatic onboard recording devices that meet the requirements of 395.15, manually recorded and specify the grid shown in the paragraph G of this section, and the grid of the requirements of paragraph D of this section may contain with the combined with any company form of the record. Duty status must be recorded in duplicate for each 24-hour period with recording as required. Or driver operating commercial motor vehicle, the record of the driver staff through using the one of the methods under paragraph A1 of the section. Submit the driver the record of the duty of the motor carrier within 13 days of the 24-hour period. The record pertaining to the dash status shall be recorded and filed with the off-duty, off, the sleeper berth, and SB only if the sleeper berth is used, driving, or D, off-duty, non-driving on for each of the First chain, the duty staff of the place of the reporting work, but starting the driving on duty, but not driving where released from work on the name of the city, the town, the village, the state abbreviation shall be recorded. The following information must be included with the form additional with the date, total miles for the driving today, truck, tractor, trailer number, the name of the carrier, driver, the signature, certification, 24-hour period starting midnight 9 a.m. to noon 3 p.m. Main office address, remarks, name to co-driver, the total hours, far right edge of the grid with the shipping of the document number, with the name of the shipper, with the commodity, with the no driver of the motor carrier may make the false report with the connection with the duty status. No driver motor carrier that may disable the deactivate, the disengage, jam, or otherwise block the grid of the signal transmission, the rejection of the re-engineer, reprogram, otherwise tamper the automatic onboard recording with the device, electronic logging device, if the device is not accurately recorded pertaining to the record data, required data. No driver motor carrier may permit the require another person to disable, deactivate, disengage, jam, or otherwise block the degree of the signal transmission, reception, re-engineering, reprogram, otherwise tamper with the automatic onboard recording device or electronic logging device so that the device has not accurately record pertaining to the required data the driver activates shall be recorded in accordance with the following provisions. Entries to be current with the driver shall keep the record of the duty staff at the current with the time shown with the last change of the data duty status, and entry that made by the driver only. All entries relating to the driver duty status must be legible in the driver's own handwriting. Date of the month and date of the year at the beginning of each of the 24-hour periods shall be shown on the form containing with the driver's duty status record. 4. Total mileage driving today with the total mileage driving during a 24-hour period shall be recorded on the form of the containing with the driver duty status. 5. Commercial motor vehicle, the identification the driver shall show with the number of the assigned by the motor carrier, the license number, the license state with each of the commercial motor vehicle operating during the 24-hour period on his or record of the duty status. The driver articulated combination of the commercial motor vehicles shall show with the number assigned with the motor carrier with the license number, the license state with each of the motor vehicle, each of the commercial motor vehicle combination operated during the 24-hour period of his or her duty on record on duty status. Name of the motor carrier. The name of the motor carrier with which the work is performed is shown from the form containing the driver the record of the duty staff when the work is performed more than one motor carrier during the 24-hour period. At the beginning of the finishing time shown with the AM PM works of each of the motor carrier shall be shown with each of the motor carrier the driver name of the driver the lease of the commercial motor vehicle shall show with the name of the motor of the carrier performing the transportation. The signature and certification of the driver shall certify the correctness of all the entries signaling with the form of the containing with the driver's duty status record with his or her legal name and the record of the driver's signature certify that all entries required with the selection with the driver are true and correct. Time base to be you, the driver of the duty status record that shall be prepared, maintained, and submitted using the timestamp of the fact with the driver's home terminal with the 24-hour period beginning with the time specified with the motor carrier with the driver's home terminal. The term 7 and 8 consecutive hours mean with the 7 and 8 in consecutive 24-hour periods designated with the carrier with the driver's home terminal. 24-hour period starting from must be identified with the driver's duty status record. 1 hour increments must appear with the graph and then identified pre-printed with the words midnight noons must appear with above with the four beside with the appropriate 1 hour increment. Main office address of the motor carrier with the most obtain office address shall have shown on the form containing the driver's duty staff the record of duty record recording days of the off duty with the 2 or more consecutive 24-hour periods off duty may record on duty status record. Total hours, the total hours of each of the duty status of the duty other than the sleeper berth, the duty and sleeper the berth, driving on duty, the driving shall be entered with the right of the grid with the total such entry within equal 24 hours. 12. Shipping document numbers and the name of the shipper to commodity shall be shown on the driver's record of the duty status. Graph grid with the graph grid must incorporate with the motive of the carrier's record keeping system, which must also contain the information required in paragraph D of this section. Alright, graph grid preparation. Graph grid may be horizontal and vertically shelved with completed its file with the off duty, except for the time spent with the resolving in the sleeper board. The continuous extend line shall be drawn between the appropriate time marked for the record with the period of time when the driver is not on duty, not required to be readiness of the work, or not under any of the responsibility of performing the work. Sleeper berth, the continuous line shall be drawn before the appropriate time marked with the record with the period of the time off duty, resting in the sleeper berth as defined in 395.2 for the non-sleeper berth operation. Sleeper berth need not to be shown on the grid. Alright, 3. Driving. The continuous line shall be drawn between the appropriate time of the mark of the record with the period of the driving time defined in 395.2. On-duty non-driver. The continuous line shall be drawn between the appropriate time mark of the record with the period of the time on-duty not driven and specified in 395.2. Location remark. The name of the city and town village of the state with abbreviation which each of the chain of the duty task occurs shall be recorded. And then it gives you a note. I reserve J. The driver use more than one motor with the driver use more one or more carry during the 24-hour period and inspect with the driver's home terminal. The driver shall submit with a copy of the record of the duties asked to each of the motor carrier with the record showing including all date duty time of the entire 24-hour period, the name of each of the motor carrier served with the driver during the period, the beginning of the finishing of the time, including with the AM PM work for each carrier. Motor carriers using the drivers for the first time, the intermediately showing of the time of the driver's time with a statement given the total time of the duty during immediately preceding 7 days of the time on which the driver was the last relief of the duty prior to the beginning of the work with the motor carriers. The retention of the driver of the record of the duty staff of the supporting documents such motor carrier shall return the record of the duty staff of the supporting documents required under this part of each of the driver's period of not less than 6 months after the day of the receipt. The driver shall retain a copy of each of the record duty staff of the previous 7 consecutive days which shall be his or her possession available for the inspection while on duty. And then it gives a note. Alright, and then 3510 is reserved. 3511, supporting document. The effective date of this section takes effect with December 18, 2017. Submission supporting document with the motor carrier of the except for the driver, the private motor carrier of the passenger, non-bid for the driver must submit with the driver's employee with the driver's supporting document within 13 days of the 24-hour period to which documents pertain to the prey with the documents come in the driver's possession, whichever is later supporting the document ready to detention. Subject to the paragraph D of the section, motor carrier that must retain each of the supporting document generated and received within the normal course for the business following categories each of the driver for the every 24-hour period and verifying on duty with not driving time in accordance with 395.8K. Each bill and landing and itinerary schedule with the equivalent document indicate the origin, destination, each trip, each dispatch record, trip record with equivalent document with each of the expense of the receipt related with the on duty driving time, and the electrical mobile communication record reflecting communication transmitted through the fleet management system. 5. Each payroll record statement and sheet with the equivalent document that they indicate the payment of the driver. The supporting document must include each of the following data elements on the document over the one on or on another document enabled to carry the link the document to the driver's name and the personal identification number or unit vehicle of the unit number associated with the driver's operating unit. The date in which it must be with the date of the location where the date was where the date is recorded. The location which must include the name of the nearest city, town, village, enabled to federal, state, or local enforcement personnel to quickly determine the vehicle's location on the standard map of the road atlas. Should the paragraph C2 2 of the section time of the must be with the convertible to local time of the location where recorded. If the driver fewer than 8 supporting documents contain the 4 data elements of the paragraph C2 1 of the section 24-hour period with the document containing the data of the elements of the paragraph C2 1A through C. The section consideration supporting document the purpose of the paragraph D with the maximum number of the supporting documents subject to paragraph D3 through 4 of the section motor carrier with the must retain with the more than 8 supporting documents of the individual driver the 24-hour period under paragraph C, and implying limit of the number of documents required in paragraph D1 of the section. Each electronic mobile communication record the applicable to the individual driver's 24-hour period shall be counted as a single document. Motor carrier has more than 8 supporting documents for the driver. The 24-hour period the motor carrier must retain the supporting document containing the earliest latest time the indication among the 8 supporting documents retained. In addition to the other supporting documents required for the section and notwithstanding the maximum number of the documents under paragraph D1 of the section, motor carrier that requires the driver to complete paper record of the duty stats under 395.8A13 must maintain its whole receipt with any of the period of the driver to kept the paper the record of the duty stats. Link driver the record of the duty staff of the motor carrier must retain the supporting document in such a manner that they are effectively matched with the corresponding driver of the record of the duty status. Prohibition of the destruction. No matter the carrier delivered may be struck with the defect, destroy, mutilate, alter existing information contained by the supporting document. E.g. the supporting document on roadside upon request during a roadside inspection, driver that must make it available to the authorized federal, state, local official with the official review any supporting document of the driver's possession. Driver not to produce the supporting document under paragraph G1 of the section format other than the format in which the driver driver possesses self-compliance system. Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration may authorize case-by-case basis of the motor carrier self-compliance system. Request that the supporting document self-compliance may be submitted. Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration over the procedure described in Title 49, Part 381, Subpart C, procedure applying for the exemption. Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration considering for the request concerning the type of the supporting document retain the motor carrier 395-8K1. The method of whether the driver retains a copy of the record due to the staff of the previous 7 days makes it available to inspection while on duty in accordance with 395-8, 395-12, reserved 395-13, declared driver declared out. Serve the authority to declare driver's out. Serve that every special agent with the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration as defined in Appendix B with the subchapter is authorized to declare driver out. Serve to notify the motor carrier with the declaration of the or upon finding at the time of the place for the examiner that the driver has violated out. Serve the criteria set forth in paragraph B of this section. Alright, I'll serve this criteria with no driver to show the driver that after being duty excess of the maximum period permitted, the driver to require the maintain the record of the duty staff of 395-8 or 395-15. Of this part should fail to record the duty staff of the current with the date of the exemption for the prior of the 7 consecutive days. Exemption of the driver failing only to possession of the record of the duty status of the current with the day of the examination prior day, but has been complete with the record of the duty status up to the time previous to 6 days will be given the opportunity to make the duty status record current. The responsibility of the motor carrier, the no motor carrier shall require that the permanent driver that has been clarified out to operate with the commercial motor vehicle until the driver is lawfully do so under the rules of part on this part. Alright, 2. Require the driver that has been declared out to prepare with the record of the duty staff of the operate commercial motor vehicle until the driver has been off duty with the appropriate number of the consecutive required with the in this part of the complying with this section and appropriate with the consecutive hours off the duty may include with the sleep or birth time. Alright, a motor carrier shall complete with the motor carrier certification action taken in the proportion of the MC63 driver's vehicle examination record report delivery with a copy of the form of personality by mail of the Director of Vision or Minister of the State of the Director of Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration at the address specified with the form of within 15 days of the following day of the examination. Motor carrier mail of the form of the delivery is made with the day of the postmark. Responsibility of the driver to know the driver that has been declared out of the service that shall be operated the commercial motor vehicle until they drive them lawfully so under the rules of this part. No driver that has been declared out of service with failing to prepare with the record of the duty status shall operate the commercial motor vehicle until the driver that has been off duty with the appropriate number of the consecutive hours required with this part within compliance with this section, and the driver to whom the form of the intention of the declaring out of the service within 24 hours of the day after the deliver mail copy to a person in the place as the name of the motor carrier to receive it. Section 39.13 does not alter the hazard material requirements prescribed in 397.5 of the pertaining to the endings of the surveillance of commercial motor vehicles. Alright, 395.15 automatic onboard recording. Authority to use the motor carrier with the install the require for the driver the automatic onboard recording device with the accordance with this section before December 18, 2017 may continue to use the compliant automatic onboard recording device no later than December 16, 2019. Otherwise, the authority to use the automatic onboard recording device under this section on December 18, 2017. In accordance with this paragraph, the A1 of the section, motor carrier may require the driver to use the automatic onboard recording device to record the driver's hours of service. Every driver records by a motor with a carrier with an automatic onboard recording device shall use the software device to record the driver's hours of service. The information required by the automatic onboard recording device shall be relieved upon the demand of the driver the hours of service. Electronic display printout showing the time and the service sequence of the duty status change with including with the driver's starting time at the beginning of each of the day. The device shall provide with the meeting with the authorized federal statement. The local officials immediately check with the staff of the driver's hours of service. The information may be used in conjunction with a handwritten printed required by the duty staff of the previous 7 days support, especially in conjunction with the onboard with the record of the driver's home term of the motor carrier with the principal plate for the business may act capable of providing half authorized federal, state, local official with a summary of the individual driver's home. The service of the record with include the information specified in 395-8D of this part of the support system must also provide the information concerning the onboard system sensor failure of identification edited data. Such system should meet the information interchange requirements of the American National Standard Code information interchange the driver shall have his or her possession record of the duty staff of the previous 7 consecutive days available to the inspection while on the duty. The record shall consider the information stored in the retrievable form of the automatic onboard recording device, handwritten record of the computer with the generated records, a combination thereof. The all hard copy of the driver, the record of the duty staff that may be sent with the driver's signature that certifies certify that the information contained there is true and correct, and the duty status and additional information shall be recorded as filed with off duty for or off by an identifiable code of carrier, sleeper berth SB, any with identification code character, only if the sleeper berth is used, driving FD with any identifiable code of character, on duty, on driving, on identify the code of the character, date, total amount of the driving time, total miles driven today, truck and tractor trailer number, name of the carrier, main office 24-hour period today, starting midnight, 9 a.m., noon, 3 p.m., name of the co-driver, total hours, shipping document numbers, and the name of the shipper of the commodity. Our location, duty status, each of the name of the duty staff, the place of the time, and the appointment of the work, starting with the driver, the on duty with the driver that will relieve them, and the work with the name of the city, of the town, the village today, the abbreviation should be recorded. Motor carrier with the permit of the use of the location, location condition of the loop with the requirement of the paragraph D1 of the section list with the subject of the shown with all possible location of the identifier shall be carried with the cab of the commercial with the motor vehicle available, the motor carrier of the principal place of the business. Such list should be made available to all enforcement officials upon request. Entry of the make made by the driver only. The driver is required to make of the written entry of the relating with the driver's duty. With such entries must be legible to the driver's own handwriting. Reconstruct the duties of the duty staff. The driver is required without a note with the failure of the automatic onboard recording device to reconstruct the driver the record with the duty staff the current day of the past 7 days, less any of the which of the driver has the record with the continue to prepare the handwritten record. All subsequent the duty staff until the duty device is again operational. Onboard information. Each of the commercial motor vehicle must have the onboard commercial motor vehicle the information packet contained with the following following items. Instruction sheet describing in detail how many data must be stored with the retrieve of the onboard recording system. Supply a blank driver record with the duty staff with the graph visualization to record with the driver's status, other related information, duration of the current trip. Submission of the driver the record with the duty the status of the driver shall submit it electronically by mail employing the motor carrier each record with the driver's duty staff within 13 days following the completion of each record. Driver shall review the verify all entry with the accurate with the prior submission of the employer with the motor carrier with the submission of the record with the duty staff with the certify with all entry with the made with the driver the true with the correct with the performance of the record with the motor carrier with the automatic onboard recording device with the record there with the driver's record with the duty status and live with a handwritten record shall ensure a certificate obtained with the manufacturer certifying that the design of the automatic onboard recorder has been sufficiently tested to meet the requirements of the section under this condition whether it will be based. The automatic onboard recording device permits the duty staff to update only with the commercial motor vehicle that is except for the registering the time of the commercial motor vehicle across the state boundary. The automatic onboard recording device associated with the supporting system to maximize the extent of the practical tamper-proof that do not permit the alterating information collected for the concern of the driver's hour service. The automatic onboard recording device warning the driver to visually or auto-believe with the device seized with the function of the device installed with the operational as October 31st, 1988, authorized to be used in lieu of the handwritten record of the duty staff of the Federal Motor Carrier Administration are exempt due to this requirement. Automatic onboard recording devices with electronic display have the capability of displaying the following: driver's total hours of driving today, total hours on duty today, total miles driving today, total hours on duty of 7 consecutive days, including the today, total hours of the duty of the prior 8 consecutive hours, including the present day. Alright, the subsequent change within the duty is stated for the time change if they occurred with each of the driver using the device. On the board, recorded with the capable of recording separately with each of the driver's staff is wherever the mutual driver operation. There's multiple driver operation. Alright, 7. The onboard recording device system identifies the sensor able to edit edited data, reprove the reproduced printed form of the device installed by the operational October 31st, 1988, authorized to use in lieu of the handwritten record of the duty status of the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration. Are exempted from the requirement of the onboard recording device maintain and recalibrated in accordance with the manufacturer's specification of the motor carrier, the driver accurately the train regarding with the proper operation of the device. Motor carrier must maintain with the second copy the backup of the copy of the electronic hours and serve the file with the months for the date and different physical location. Then the original data store of the recession of the authority of the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration after notice for the opportunity to reply in order on any of the motor carrier with the driver that comply with the requirements of 395.8 of this part. Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration may issue the order of the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration and determine that the motor carrier has issued the conditional unsatisfactory rating of the Federal Motor Carrier System Safety Commission Administration. The motor carrier has required the permitted the driver that established for the driver that established for the pattern executing the hours of service limitations of this part. The motor carrier has required the permitted driver that failed with the driver that has failed accurately completed the record with the driver that hours service required for this. But in this section, the motor carrier with the driver has tampered with the otherwise abused the automatic onboard recording device and commercial motor vehicle. Alright, 395, 16 to 319 reserved in subpart B, electronic logging devices.